General introduction. This movie is based on law of contract and describes the people who have the capacity to enter in a contract. The story revolves around a painter who wanted to sell his painting. Once upon a time, there was a painter who had made a beautiful painting and wanted to sell his painting. So, he approached the most educated and wealthy person of the town, the wise man. The wise man loved the painting, but he could not afford to buy such an expensive piece of art. But he told the painter that he is going to a nearby village and offered the painter to accompany him and said that he can help him in selling the painting. They moved to the next village. They met a few people, out of which Chotulal, son of a big Seth, got ready to buy the painting and offered a lot of money. The painter was really happy, but the wise man refused to sell the painting. The wise man replied that Chotulal was a minor and a contract with a minor, that is, a person who has not completed the age of 18 years, is altogether void as minors are not competent to contract. The painter was surprised and said that Chotulal claimed that he is 22 and if he was lying, he can be sued and compelled to pay. To which the wise man said, "You cannot do that. Court cannot stop him for pleading minority. Where a minority, by misinterpreting his age, has induced the other party to enter into a contract with him, he cannot be made liable for the contract. There can be no estoppel against a minor. It means he is not estopped from pleading his infancy in order to avoid a contract." So, does that mean we should never enter into a contract with a minor? The painter asked curiously. No, that is not the case. A minor can be a beneficiary under contract, but in your case, he will become a promiser, so he cannot bind himself by contract. The wise man answered. The painter's eagerness was rising. So what if I sell him my painting today and receive money when he becomes major? The wise man answered, No, an agreement with the minor is completely void. A minor cannot ratify the agreement even on attaining majority because a void agreement cannot be ratified. A person who is not competent, an act cannot give it validity by ratifying. The painter then wanted to know, what if he would have sold him his painting? Could he get his painting back? The wise man asks the painter, Do you know what is restitution? The painter was clueless. The doctrine of restitution implies that when a person obtains property or goods by false misinterpretation, he can be compelled to restore it to the person from whom he has received it. The doctrine applies on minors too, who can be compelled to restore the property or goods as long as the same is traceable in his possession. Therefore, the court can order to return your painting, but only painting. If painting cannot be traced, you cannot have money instead. A minor is not liable for torts arising out of contract, but is liable for general torts. Thank you, the painter said. You saved me from the loss. See, the second village has arrived. Let us show my painting to someone. He showed his painting to the wealthiest person of the village. He was so interested to buy the painting, but the wise man refused to sell, and the painter was very angry on him. On the way, he said, Now what was wrong with him? He didn't look minor to me. He had grey hair. You didn't see. He was alcoholic and drunk all the time. He had no sound mind. The wise man replied, calming him down. Then the wise man explained it to the painter in detail. When a person is not capable of understanding and forming a rational judgment as to its effects upon his interest, he is called unsound mind. So, you cannot enter into a contract with idiots, lunatics, and intoxicated. Idiots are of permanent unsound mind, so you cannot enter in a contract with them, whereas lunatics are sane at intervals, so contract entered when they are sane are valid. And a person who is intoxicated is of unsound mind, so I refused to sell your painting to that alcoholic man. And then they arrived at the last village. They found a person who was ready to buy the painting. The wise man refused to sell, and the painter was angry as usual. "Now what happened?" the painter said in rage. "He is insolvent, and he is disqualified by law, so you cannot sell him the painting." Apart from the people we met, alien enemies, foreign sovereign ambassadors, and convicts are also incapable to contract, he added. "How do you know so much about contract?" The painter was inquisitive. The wise man said that he was once falsely accused in bomb blasts in Gujarat and was declared alien enemy at that time. But later, he was acquitted in the court of law. But because of this incident, a lot of people refused to have contracts with him, which compelled him to study about the people who have the capacity of entering into contract. Ultimately, they went to town where they found a competent buyer, and the painter joyfully thanked the wise man.